Beautiful beings of the universe, welcome to now. I'll start this video as always with the beautiful golden fire element, and I'm going to light this incense for the good energy, for the good vibes. Have you been feeling off lately about, do you feel your solar plexus has been attacked? Do you feel that sort of a tension in your gut area, in your abdomen? You don't feel like eating anything. You don't feel like drinking anything. You feel like you just want to feel more light in your body. And a lot of that has got to do with the moon energy. A lot of that has got to do with the insanity of the world outside. A lot of that has got to do with the manipulative energy, the mind control of how the society wants to brainwash you, even silently, okay? Even silently, because you might think that, okay, if people around me are not speaking, or your haters would just show up their hate visually to you. What do you think is all this gang stalking and mind control, MK Ultra, and all of this thing about? All of this is just so that the people in power could keep you in control, so that they can always keep you confused, so that your prefrontal cortex always stays blocked. Have you ever been feeling, why do you have all these sinus issues lately? All of these gut related issues? Don't you see they put garbage in their food? Don't you see all of this is satanic? They'll smile in front of you, and all of these things that they give you, that the society offers to you, is just a bait. Come, it's free. And then they get you. And this happens in all areas of the society. And somebody who has got a good, clear agenda, somebody who tells the truth, somebody who's got the courage to be vocal about the injustice, about the crime, about the insanity in the world. So those people would be, of course, silenced. And that you can see tracing back far in the history. And the history that you are taught in your school is, first of all lies. It's all made up in a way that serves the people in power. So they are going to brainwash you into reading and agreeing to the facts that this is how it is, because there's no other way that you're going to go back in the history and trace back and see for yourself. And your whole life is a stupid manipulation game. The reason why all of this is meant in a gaslighting way, so that they do not completely, if the system truly tells you that you are useless and you do not matter, well, there have been cases when they would just be outrightly rejected, denied, and absolutely silenced, like they never existed. Nobody gets to know about them. That is what they try to do through isolation. So so there are two ways. One way is of fear, wherein they try to intimidate you by gang stalking, by people just showing up in ways which is absolutely violent, which is absolutely disturbing, which is, and the root cause of all of this is to intimidate you. And I'm just shocked, like so much of money is being spent hiring thousands and thousands of people, absolutely curated and designed everything that you see, the companies you work for, the people you're around, the, like, literally 100% of your life is being crafted by them. And these people want to play God. Okay? This is the real game. This all is satanic. Don't you see that? Check out the videos of Professor Jiang, Jiang, and he talks about all of these. And I'm absolutely thankful to his channel because spits the facts. He talks about the truth of how the world is and how the people in power, they have all the time used energies, used all sorts of attacks, energetic attacks, psychic attacks, mind control, so that they could literally manipulate, control, and damage your own sense of understanding from what's right and what's wrong. Just because they would give you something for free, so that you keep stuck in those lower realms of comfort. And that is absolutely the place where you die. And if you've got a problem and you raise your voice, they would say, how come you have a problem and others do not have a problem? Yeah, because all the rest of the people have been told to act in this way, this very way, so that this is how they would reward them. And if you do not go along to get along, you do not play this game, then you would be punished for this. So people think that they can actually control you and manipulate you just because they are trying to talk nicely to you. While these same people, these exact same people, would be the ones who were trying to destroy you all this while. And now they're trying and act nice to you. These people who you see on the street, who you see outside around you, who you think are strangers, they are not. Nobody's a stranger. All of these are actors. And everything is curated. They are also reading your thoughts. So whatever you think, all of those, they know exactly what you want and then they place it right there. They know exactly that you would be going out for this and this stuff and exactly the things that you wanted. Everything is is placed exactly in the store that's most nearest to you so that you do not have to think about going to some other places, and they think that all of this is just because they want to show that they are playing god. What do you think? The whole of this world wherein there is all these inventions and discoveries and the so-called game of making things so that you could claim that I am the businessman, I'm doing all of this and that, all of that is just a plain big lie. The truth behind all of this is that people just are fighting for their perceptions. Have faith, like the sort of faith that I have. And if you come around and you challenge me that your thoughts are different than mine, then I'm going to make your life so miserable that you are going to regret living. And I would make you so insane that you would be driven to insanity. That I would ensure that your life is pushed all the way to the edge. So that they put so much fear in you that whatever things that you had planned or you wanted to do, there was this desire that automatically starts to fade away and you question, I don't want to do that anymore if it's so risky. I don't want to do that if it's coming with so much of fear. Like every day being intimidated by people every single day for months, for years. All right? And the repercussion of this is you should just not say or speak about it. Because if you do, then naturally they would say that they would make you look like crazy. Not because they do not have the inner compass to understand. And here's the fact, what if everybody sees that it's broad day, it's broad day sunlight, but everybody comes together and lies, no, it's night. And you say, no, this is not night, this is day. Don't you see there's sun? So at that point in time, you trying to explain to the insanity of the society, and they would call you crazy and call you're woke and you're like a threat because we all come together and say it's night and you are saying it's day. Yeah, because it is day. And then they would say, why do you have a problem? Others don't have problem. Don't you see? So others have become junkies or alcohol addicts because whatever problem they had and they would speak, nobody would hear it. So how the system wants you to be is just go so mad in consumption that you do not have your own inner awareness left to say that this is wrong. But the whole system is like you are supposed to follow, even though that is toxic, even though that is dying, even though it drives you, and you realize all of this is so much toxic. You look at the way how people are, and if at all somebody's talking nicely to you, that and all is also planned out. Everything is acting out. Nobody's is truly themselves and real anymore. Everybody's just like a zombie, like a puppet. No matter where you go, no matter where you go. First of all, you think that you have this free will, but your thoughts, your YouTube feed, your social media algorithm, every single thing is specially curated and designed for you. So you think that you have this free will that I'm going to find what I want on the internet, a voice that is just an echo of my inner voice. Because what is everybody trying to do on the internet? They're just trying to find their resonance through an artist, through a song, through a poetry, through a speech, through a great leader who taught truth, who had the guts to live for it. And then you realize all of this is made out, and you do not just have any free will. You're just like somebody who's a puppet. And the only choice that you do see is if if a situation doesn't vibe along, like intentionally, through your intuition, through your gut, you know that people as they present, they're not who they are. They're all just acting out. And then you leave. Everything seems very bizarre, especially in these times. To think of trusting someone is very remote, because you see most of the time people are just trying to act out. First of all, we live in a world where nobody cares about no one, but people have been paid by this gang stalking community, and they're at work. They would intentionally cut you across on the street, no matter you're at work or you're in a cafe or you're in a restaurant or you go to a shopping center. They want to make look like that everything that you're thinking is absolutely public. That means, well, you've got no privacy. And yes, nobody has got any privacy. Nobody has no privacy because the big brother is watching you like 1984. You're being watched. And this all is nothing new. All of this has been going on for long, long time. So what is there to fear about? What is there to, like, you being a person of truth? Why do you have to fear when you see the vulgarity and the vulgar display of power through these through all of this mind control stuff going on? They do not have any shame of of how they want to disrupt people's functional working mind. They have got no shame. They don't think twice before taking control of your life, making you look like a puppet. And there are you questioning, shall I speak the truth? Because surely they are watching. And here's the thing, they do all of these props, all of these acts, all of these made up stuff. It's only so that you speak what you speak. And it's not that if I do not speak these things, these people do not know your thoughts. They are already watching each and every thought that you have. They study theta wave brain patterns. So whatever you are thinking about, it's exactly lying there on the street or in the shop. And in all of these, the big giant tech companies are involved too. Technology is not your friend. Technology is a bait that they have given to us so that first of all you completely depend on it, and then this thing takes control over your life. So no matter whether you spoke about an idea to someone, but there is it on your YouTube feed, exact same problem that you are thinking about with a solution. And all of this constant surveillance and monitoring by these stalking jets, by these stalking cars and people. And when you would record them for the fact that they're gang stalking you, then they would say, "No, I'm just doing my own thing," because that's the order. They would make you look like you're the crazy one because you are actually seeing through a thing as it is. But then that's how you have to live with it. There are so many things that you would be experiencing on a day-to-day manner, which is absolutely wrong, which is absolutely evil. Like the moment you go to any shop, you go to Coles. The other day I went to Coles just to have a coffee and buy some fruits, banana and mangoes. And then it just gets swarmed by these people who constantly keep on cutting across at every corner. And all of this is to make you feel like you're being watched. So naturally, the agenda is to breed fear in you, especially you, because you're the chosen one, because you don't give a fuck about their stupid lies. You don't care about whatever sort of agenda that they have in their mind, so that they just want to make it look like you're not anything that you consider yourself to be. The whole agenda is to take back your power. And you're not powerful in the realm like amongst these power hungry people. You're just powerful in your spirit. You're just somebody who sees through and sees things as they are, and when you see that something is wrong, you're just honest to yourself. But when you tell this to a perpetrator, to a gang stalker, to a community which has invested heavily on this special project so that they could control the minds of woke people. Okay? All of this is just attack if you are woke. As long as you stay like a sheep, or as long as you have sold your soul to the evil, to the Satan, and keep on taking the orders. So if they tell you I'll pay you this much, you just have to go and abduct someone or destroy them, and you don't use your own mind. Like, why am I doing this work? Why should I be gang stalking someone just because I'm paid a lot? So there you are. You murder your own intuition, and then you want to sleep in the night. For that to happen, you must be deep, dark in ignorance. But if you are somebody who, if you're in between the light and the dark, it's going to get very heavy for you. Because every time you do wrong, there is a consciousness in you that tells you this is wrong, you should not be doing this. And in the seven hermetic laws, hermetic principles of Kabbalion, it's very clearly stated. It's very clearly stated in all of the universal laws of Hinduism. This is throughout all religion. What is religion after all? Religion is truth. There's no point of you following a religion just because it tells you to do this, 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 this. But if there's no truth in it, your direct attraction to the truth, if there's no truth into anything, you're not going to be attracted to it. Because by nature, that's the way you are born. That's the way the creator created you. If there's no truth into something, you're not going to be actively involved in doing that. Now, fear might get you involved into doing something that is absolutely false, that is absolutely soul draining. But I'll tell you this, even fear has got a threshold, all right? So don't think that if entire society of Satan comes out together to get you and plan out everything just to put fear into you. Like the other day I went to office, and this new workplace where I've joined, that is exactly on the same street where my previous office was. So before I was working for another company, and now this one, this is exactly on the same street, and on a big glass window is put a sticker of a laughing monkey, and all of that is a joke on you. Like they see you like your life is a joke, okay? And they want to make you look like, don't you get this joke? All of this thing is already planned. We have already decided which company you'll work for, which powers you are going to be dealing with, and we just play you like a puppet. So you do not have a free will. Don't think that you are too smart to be there, but it's on us, where because we are the ones who have got all of this millions and trillions of dollars. We are the ones who control everybody's life on the planet. So this this whole point of working hard so that I could be selected is bullshit. Because if these people truly have all that power, which definitely it looks like, and don't let anybody fool you into this that, oh, you're just talking about coincidences. All of this is just synchronicity. And you are just taking this too deep, because do you mean to say all of this is synchronicity? All of this is coincidence? So I go to this gas station where I take my daily coffee from, because that's just so that I could feel more air into my lungs. Because I go to that place through the bicycle, and which is very near for me, and I just go because I want to feel more air in my lungs. And also I like to go into those shops because it has got a lot of things, and in that shop also they know exactly what what thing you will buy. They know exactly what thing you will like, so they put those items on special discount. And I know as I talk about all of this, people would think you're just crazy, but not for too long. Like if you are having all of these experiences every single day, well, that's how it is, and all of this is planned out. All of this is planned out. The way these gang stalkers would throw up stuffs on the road, on the street, in the park, they know exactly which bench you would go and sit to, and they would write out the message. So first of all, they would create the problem so that you're in stress, you're anxious, you live out of, I don't know. And then they would send out buses and trucks and cars with messages written so that they are trying to give you a message basically that I rescue you through this job that would come to you next. You are safe. Okay. First of all, you create the danger into someone's life. First of all, you put somebody on the spot, and then you give a solution. It's very much like what Alan Watts said. Your life is like a fish and the monkey. So what the monkey does is it takes the fish out of the water and then keeps it like this on the hands of that monkey. And then the monkey says, "Hey dear fish, little fish, I'm your friend, and I'm going to save you, because you see I see you so much in trouble because you're outside water and you cannot breathe. So, see, I'm your helper and I put you down in the water. And that's what the monkey does. And then the fish says, "Thank you so much. Thank you so much, dear monkey. You helped me." This is what these gang stalkers and this mind control is part of. First of all, they will create problems for you and then deliver a solution. This is on the physical plane. On a spiritual plane, all of this is just about this game of yin and yang. What the demons, the dark energies, the satanic people, and they're not even aware that they've been possessed by this spirit. They're not even aware. Because when that spirit leaves, then they're back as a normal human being which does not have a dark black heart. So, what basically the idea is, these people just want to interact with you. And this is the social human nature. This is the social nature of every human being, that you want to interact. You want to speak to each other. That speaking can be in various forms. That speaking can be in the form of music, wherein you do not have to do any lip service, but your music talks through you. That communication might be in the way you live. You can be absolutely silent for days, for weeks, but your being talks a lot louder than words. You might be speaking through writing a book. You might be speaking through doing some project. You might be speaking through the way you cook. You might be speaking through the way you do work on the garden. So there are a million ways how a being communicates to rest of the people. So all of these are the strange ways. So for instance, they would intentionally start sending out people with everybody wearing red top, red t-shirt, red dress, red car, or lines of white cars coming in, or garbage trucks being sent. That's for sure. Garbage trucks being sent your way, especially, or sometimes very rich fancy cars. And I don't know what is the agenda, but that's how it is, and they do this to intimidate you, or just to make you look like you're being watched. And as per the quantum physics of particle and wave nature, if something is being watched all the time, which is the case, all of us are being watched, and if you are woke, if you are aware, you just notice that, and the others tend to rather close their eyes, like a cat that says, "Oh, there's no fear, there's no danger, so I'm just going to keep my eyes closed and say that there's no danger." That is what others have chosen, the others, the liars, the perpetrators. Because the perpetrators think that if I'm the predator and I feed on the prey, if I'm able to scare somebody who's good, somebody who's truthful, somebody who's honest, somebody who's so much better than I am, that I'm so fucking jealous of that person. So, like this, if I could actually bring them to fear so that they themselves create a mental block in their mind and then they do not expand, so that I could actually limit whatever thing that they want to create. I'm just going to. Why do you think all of these thought patterns, reading, and this all stealing of your thoughts is going on? Because they fear, the Satan fears very clearly that you are the one. And it's not to say that only you are the one. There are a lot of other people of light, but they have been intentionally set aside so that they do not want the truth to come out, so that they could contain the population of masses in fear and control in low vibration, wherein your life is just about consumption. Your life is just about do some shoddy, mindless job, do three, four jobs just to pay your basic bills, work with somebody who has got basically close to zero intelligence, but who's just a plain straight out liar, who can talk loud and say that I can do all of this. And naturally, you see, these are the people in power. So to get actually rich and famous and be power worthy, you do not have to be literally worthy of that. You just have to be somebody who's disconnected from their truth. There's only one criteria. This is the only reason why there is great divide in the world. This is the only reason why there are wars in the world. This is the only reason why there is insanity in the world. And because there is this fire, the whole world is burning, it's ablaze. They want to sedate that. So, for that sedation, there are two ways. Either they will give you medicine that would just make you so numb and so dumb that you would just prefer sleeping all day, because to wake up means to actually look at the fire and find out ways to solve intellectually, intelligently, how can I actually change about this problem statement. Or the second way is make you insane through excessive consumption, make you mad after money, which is after all a creation of our own thing. Professor Jiang talks about this in one of his great lectures I was watching. And he said that there's enough food in the world for people to die out of hunger. But intentionally, we have chosen a world where, because you think that I should not give this to this person because I do not like them, I would rather let them die out of hunger. I would rather set this country on war because I don't like the leader who stands up for the true rights, and for somebody who's a true visionary. So I'm going to rather destroy that country. I'm rather going to take away all of its resources. And I don't care if people die. And how could you do all this brutality? How could you get so violent about all of this? Because unless and until you have not slandered those people's name, calling them terrorist, and why were these people made terrorists? That nobody looks at. So first of all, they would set the life of certain people so bad, so much insane. They would force them to so much injustice, atrocity, that they do not have a choice but to fight for themselves. And when they do, they would be called as, oh, these are the violent terrorists and we should get rid of them. So let's have war and let's destroy each other. Because we built all this money and we spent all of this much money on the defense, and now if our weapons are being unused, what is the point? So let's make some wars. And let's have inequality, and let's make people fight amongst each other. So let's rather get the funds raised and feed the system wherein everybody fights with each other. But we are not going to make it look so much sane, else everybody would know that all of this is organized. So I'm going to control you with fear. I'm going to control you with greed by getting surplus millions of dollars into this project of mind control. And that's what is happening to you on a daily, day-to-day basis. Your whole life is as if you're in a game. And you watch all these actors play out every single day, all these paid out strangers acting in front of you. That old lady that you saw who comes to the gas station or to the bus stand in a hot day when she need not be there, all of that is planned out. That man who would intentionally cut you across and stand so close to you is just to get a reaction out of you. It's just so that you go nuts and you say, why are you standing so close? Because people don't have any any respect for people's space. They just want to invade your space, not because though the entire shop might be empty, but they want to just keep cutting your corners so that they just want to do what they've been paid for. And they're paid to intimidate you. They're paid to put fear into you. And then the other times, these mind control programs also want to show you like they care for you. So that all of this guard that you built against this evil, this satanic act, you could probably, it's very much like gaslighting. So they would not outrightly tell you that you are crazy, but in a way try and invalidate your existence. They do this in all of the social places in the world. They do this in family. They do this in workplace. They do this in any sort of social setup that you can think about. So for instance, if you are at a gathering amongst a group of people, and first of all they will trigger a conversation and seek your idea on that, okay? And once you start talking about it, the other 3 4 people would start talking at the same time as you're talking to intentionally make you feel like your voice does not matter. But they cannot do that if they did not ask you a question in the first place. So all of this is mind control. They would speak directly one to one to you in a group so that they could get a reaction out of you. And once you start to give in your feedback, something that makes sense, then all of these people would just start cutting you. And don't think this all is random. All of this is planned out. Every single thing is planned out. So these people, all of these strangers who intentionally come out to give you a show, right? Everyday life is like a show. Or if you're trying to create something musically or something you've been very much involved into, then that day you see the insanity and the hate is so much louder because the threat is that you should just not know who you are. The game is you play small so that I could feel my ego busted, so that I could feel that my ego is far bigger than yours. And it's always these people in power who just wants to control you. It's not that you are smarter than them. Maybe these people have more sense of accomplishment, but spiritually they are void. They do not have a spirit. And all of this is basically just a war between the light and the dark. It's just about fighting the truth and the lies. And we live in an upside down world. And this is what is spoken in Vishnu Puran as well, in Hinduism. So somebody who's truthful would be pushed all the way on the edge. They would not have any sort of true vibe tribe because the other perpetrators and liars would want to make you look like, oh, whatever things you are saying, I don't get it. So this is how the world is, and these dark entities, they would seem to have a lot more, and they would seem to splurge, and that's what would be called as success in today's world. And you might say that, yeah, with all of these games being played every day, and when you feel like every day feels like so much as if it's a war, it's a direct attack on your spirit. All of these are psychic attacks, by the way. This is all spiritual warfare. And if you see to it, the whole meaning of your entire life is to know who you are, is to find the God within yourself. And if you can see through the truth, you know that being in too much crowded places, like in public transport, or in shops, or in very crowded places, that tends to drain your energy. Then you just want to be more in nature. But even while being in the nature, you know that you're being gang stalked, you're being surveillanced. But still, out of the two, you would naturally choose being more in the nature than being in crowded places like shops. And eventually, as you tend to see more to how the truth is, your interest in even buying so many things and stuffs which is unnecessary tends to fade. Like, why just go to a shop for no reason, just to browse things, just to look at the nice cute things? Because whatever that tiny little interest you had gets taken away the moment you see all of these demonic gang stalkers. And they just come out intentionally so that you lose your interest in whatever way and form you've got interest in these little things. Maybe spiritually it's about cleansing too. Like, if you can see through that lens, then you would see that these gang stalkers, though they do not want to bring out the best in you, but secretly these people are your teachers in the way that they focus you, they tend to turn you inwards. So if you thought, I just want to have a good time at that shop, I just want to have a good time at that cafe, but you went there and you find all of these demonic ass negative vibing people who start on playing out the way they have been paid. They just playing by the script that they've been handed for that day. So they would exactly sit next to you on the next table and talk the exact things that you were doing yesterday to make you look like, yeah, we know everything about you. And then of course you lose your interest sitting there. So of course you move out, and then you go about getting back home and doing the thing that you are running from. Because, see, there is an element of darkness in you which you want to evade by going out and not facing that head on. And we all humans are living paradoxes. We want to do something, but we do something else. It's like you love someone else, but you marry someone else while dreaming about the person whom you wished you could have been with, because you did not have the courage to act on your own true calling. And all of this violence in this world is because of misplaced energies. You love something, but you do something else. You mean something else and you say something else. You say you love your children, but deep inside you have just got this desire of controlling them. You want your child to live a life that you couldn't live. You like your children as long as they are obedient to you. But the moment you discover they've got a soul and they are a different human, and their agendas and ways of thinking is way too free and radical, you would you would just, what should I say? You would just make them look like, I don't know you. You would make them look like you're a stranger. Just because your child is a free spirit, now you don't want to recognize this, that you and me are one. The whole world, entire existence on the planet runs on these two energies. One is the energy of divide, and the second is the energy of unity. The people who are from the light realm, who come from the Christ consciousness, and you do not just get Christ conscious because you go to a church or because you belong to a religion. It's a way of living in truth. You can be going to the church and you could be going to the temples and still being living in complete opposition of truth. That doesn't make you A Christ follower. A Christ follower could be somebody who has never ever seen or known about church, but who has got the love of Christ in their heart. It does not matter which religion or family or country or continent or skin color they come from. Religion was made in the first place as a sort of refuge because first of all there's no security in the world. There's no security in life because life is nature and nature is wild. Nature doesn't go by the rules. So when you look at this insanity and that life has got no rules, the only rules that you, a follower, a blind, ignorant person would live by is because of you have been handed over that these are the rules in the matrix and this is how you've got to play. So you thought that life is a rule, but actually there are no rules to it. So there are only two forces. One is the energy of division, divide everything in the name of countries, borders, states, people, community, race, religion, ideologies, beliefs, gender, total divide. And with this, they can control you. And the second is the energy of integration. Love is the integrating force. And because love is integrating force, it might look very illogical to somebody who works out of division. And that's why these two forces are constantly in opposition of each other. The light and the dark, the yin and the yang. One is dividing and one is integrating. If you come from somebody who's more about the heart consciousness, because your heart is the most intelligent form, your brain is like the moon and your heart is the sun. The moon is shining because of the reflection of the light from your heart space, which is the sun, the gold, the golden energy, the light. And naturally, this is the truth. If you're more in the sun, you tend to have no disease. Along with along with your movement in truth, your life based out of truth. But you see, all of these people in power in this world, they tend to be all the time in their headspace like, I use a lot of my mind. I'm the one that makes the rules. I'm the one that is going to make all these complexities in the world. And the heart is about simplification. Just simplify. Heart is about clarity. And all of the great ideas and plans of making business and money and control and whatever you want to do is the fruit, but the root comes from your heart center. And don't worry about the copycats or all of these surveillance technologies and gang stalking community that you're in, which is basically throughout the world. If you're alive and you're living in this world, that's the way. And the harder you try, I'm going to learn. How should I fight this? This is going to get get to choke you by your throat. So don't even try to fight this whole thing because it's not worth it. And who you would fight and who you would complain when everything is put in a way that's not supposed to see the truth, then why even talk about this, right? But there's one thing: as long as you are alive, and since you come from the heart space, no matter how much hard you try, no matter how much ever ways you try to be like them, to get acceptance, to get approval, first of all, you will not be approved. And second thing, even if you were approved, they're going to keep you last and low, which you would naturally want to get out of. And that's why coming to the heart means letting go of and having a lot of courage to walk alone. Because somebody who has the courage to walk alone is basically the true child of God, because then they do see the light inside themselves. So to walk in the light of Christ, to walk in the light of Buddha, to walk in the light of Lord Krishna, to walk in the light of Goddess Radha, of Goddess energy and godly divine energy clearly means this one thing, that you must have the courage to go all in. Even when you feel that your voice is shaking, you still speak the truth. Even if you feel like you have to cry because everybody's against you, even with tears in your eyes and a heart that is completely shattered, you tell the truth. Don't give a fuck about the liars. Because the louder the noise, the louder the attack on your calling, it's exactly because of the reason. And the reason is plain and truth, that you just belong to the light. And there's no way, no demonic energies, no witchcraft, no voodoo, no nonsense, no none of their planned out gang stalking or whatever shit they want to do, or even if they call you, oh, you're schizophrenic or you're crazy. That's what they will try and do to make you look like you're the crazy one, because you just see too much. And that's why this whole food industry spends so much on putting heavy chemicals in your food. And of course, it makes it tasty. So naturally, you fall for the taste. But then you realize that for that one greed that you fell into, that was for taste, it cost you uneasiness in your body. And when you're feeling uneasy in your body, forget about clarity. It's remote. That's why when Christ fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, it was not that he was not tempted by the Satan. And then the Satan came and said, just give up all of this and come to me. I'll give you everything that you want. I'll make you the king of the world in material plane. But that would mean taking away his divinity, which he was not ready for. So it did not bend. And that needs a lot of courage. That needs so much control over your own greed. And greed is a strong emotion. When you're given so much power over the world, and then to let go of that. But because he was divine, because he was and he is and he always will be, because that is the truth. So he said that I'm the son of God, but I and God are one. And that's why the Romans crucified him, because like they said, how dare you say that you are God? You're not God. Yeah, we like your teachings till you contain yourself and don't say that I'm the God. Do whatever thing you're doing. Just don't come to the center of the truth, which is the eye of the storm. Do whatever playing around in the playground. I don't care. And that's why this whole bunch of evil act of mind control and manipulation is on. And their only interest is in taking away your soul, which is very easy for these people in power to control you by two ways, either by greed or by fear. And it's not that you do not have fear, it's not that you do not feel threatened. But then you also see to it like, what am I getting by these fearful containment? What am I getting out of this contraction? Nothing. Because if you think that choosing safety is going to keep you happy for a long time, you're very wrong. It might keep you under this illusion that I'm safe because you just slept in your home and you felt that, yeah, I'm comfortable inside the blanket and I feel safe. But not for too long, because the next day you wake up and the burden of the task that was there on your head doubles the next day, because you there is a sort of guilt in you that says, I should have done that work. So even though the material world would reward you heavily with lot of things, material wealth, fame, fortune, relationships, but if you know that you are not truly living by your true calling which is inside of yourself, that honest voice which a child has, which makes them happy when they just play out, you're always going to feel like you're living a cheated version of your life. You're always going to feel like you're living as if in a dream, like this is not your reality. This is the reality that has been created for you. And you might think that maybe you belong to another world, but surely not this world, not this plane of existence. A lot of masters have talked about this power of imagination. And I want to tell you that you cannot have imagination unless and until you're not in such an environment in your life, that you're not in such a position in your life where there is no other escape for you but from imagination. Sure, you can plan out a trip and travel other places in the world and maybe escape the reality of your problems now. But once you are back, you are there with it. So it's just like you postpone those problem solving because you're running away from it, and then after a month when you're back, you're back there sitting with it. So imagination is a place where you which is your like not just your escape, but you create what is not there. So if you don't see compassion in the world, you create that compassion. If you don't see there is love in the world, you create that love. If you don't see there is beauty in the world, you create that beauty. In imagination, you can also create angels, and you can also create fairies, and you can have so many things. And what is what is even the difference between imagination and reality? In Ashtavakra Gita, it was clearly told when the king Janak asked this enlightened master, Ashtavakra, that God, please enlighten me with this. Is my dream life a dream, or is my real life a dream? Because he was the king Janak, and his daughter was goddess Sita, who married the Lord Ram. So, though he was a king, but in his dream he saw that he was he was defeated by the other king, the opponent king, and he was running to save his life. And he was very hungry and he was very thirsty, and he was outside his own kingdom, running for food for safety of his life. And there he was so much hungry, so thirsty. So finally he knocked at a woman's house, a hut. She was a very poor woman, and he knocked and just begged her, please give me some rice so I could eat, because I'm so hungry and I'm the king who just lost this battle to my neighboring king. So this woman comes out from her hut and gives him some rice to eat on a banana leaf. And as he was just about to eat that rice, there comes a bird and takes over his plate of rice, and all of that rice falls in the mud, and he cannot eat it. And he was on the verge of dying. If he does not eat, he would die. This was his dream. And then he was so much in fear, he woke up and realized that, oh, I was so much hungry. I just wanted to be fed. Even though I was a lost king, all I cared for was my life. I just wanted to have some rice and he couldn't get that. So that fear got him so upset and he was so much anxious that he woke up from his dream. And then he asked, Ye sach ya wo sach? That means, in Hindi, it means, is this the truth or is that the truth? Was my dream the truth, wherein I was a beggar asking for rice from a poor woman? Or is this the truth, wherein I'm a king who rules the world? Ye sach ya wo sach? Is my this version of reality true, or was my dream a reality? So to this, the enlightened sage Ashtavakra, he says, na ye sach, na wo sach. That means neither this is true nor that is true. Both of these are dreams. And you live in a dream world. And your sleep is just like dream inside the dream, very much like the movie Inception. So when you see all of this, that all of this is a dream, then why bother? And this sort of a dissociative state, you might think that then how am I different from a drunkard who also drinks to forget? And this awareness also seems to make you forget. So that's why it said, the great Sufi saint Rumi said, somebody who's awake looks like a drunk to a common man. They look crazy to the outside world, as if they are high on alcohol, as if they are high on some sort of drug. But they are just high on the truth consciousness that all of this is a game. So you need not worry, you need not bother. But the illusion of it, that I'm the doer, that I'm going to sort you and I'm going to fix you and I'm going to teach you who I am. So don't mess with me. All of this just gets you more and more deeply involved so that you could play this game like a real player. There are two aspects. You have the willpower, and which means you are the total creator of your life. So you create your demons and you also create the angels. You create the unsupportive energies and you also create the supportive energies, because you want to have a game of two. There's no fun in just one. Before the god Before the universe was created, God was all alone and he was so bored. So he created this whole world so for a game to happen. And all of this is a game. The evil in your life, the haters that you have, those guys are playing game with you. Their hate, their contempt on you, their them laughing at you, or just making you look like a clown, or your supporters, your family, your friends, those are also playing game with you. They want to have a relationship of harmony with you, because they also want to feel safe and loved and cared for at some place. So while they choose a world which is enemy to them, they create their own family which they agree upon, that I'm going to care for you and you must do the same in return to me. And this is the unspoken law within every family member, that we all must think of safety, care, and in ways we can support each other. But when that contract is broken, in which there is an unbalance of energy wherein you are in a one track manner, you are just given in excess and the other parties involved are just, you know, more interested in taking, then you might just want to see what is going on. But then you also come towards the great work of Lao Tzu in this awesome book, Tao Te Ching. So he says that the great power, the true power is actually in the giving. So even though to the ones you give are evil or malicious or scheming against you because you are helping them, you still go ahead and help because that is your nature. It is very much like the story of a saint and a toxic crab who would come out and bite the saint at the river. But then the saint would take out that crab and put it back in the river. And then that thing would come again to bite and attack him. So all of this was being watched by a person who was just standing on the edge. And he said, why are you trying to help that crab when it is coming to attack you time and again? So the saint said, I'm just doing my nature. This is my nature to help. And that is the nature of the crab to come and attack me. So I do not hate that. But I do my thing and I let that thing do its own thing. So this is the power of giving. This is the power of compassion. So you give despite it not being received. Despite people trying to downplay you for your divinity. Why? Because you did not give in the first place so that you could get an applause from them, so that you could get a reputation, so that you could get a validation from them. Like you just have to live by what seems right to you. And as the world is, the more giving you are, the more they would want to tramp on you. They would want to make you look like you're a fool, like you're trying to be nice in a world which is so insane, so toxic, so violent, which takes your kindness like a joke. They're going to laugh at you. But you're okay with that because you know that you don't do any of that for your greatness so that you could be called better than them. You're just acting out as nature has created you. And you also realize that you are so much insignificant, just like everybody else. But being insignificant in a huge array of universe where Earth itself is a dot and Earth in itself means nothing. So in this big planet, you are just another dot that doesn't have anything so important tagged to it. So why carry this burden that I'm so and so? You're nobody. And not a them anybody. All of this is just a plain game. And you have the power to just wake up to this lens of viewing. And when you see to it, then you just let the game play out as it is without you coming in and interfering that this is how I want the game to turn and this is how I want to move the things. You would do that if you are heavily interested in the game and you are so much hell bent on calling yourself a winner as if you are in a game of soccer or as if you are playing chess. But since we are on this dual game and your ego does get triggered every time you meet your opponent and the opponent takes no miss in trying to test you to push your buttons. because they want to be heard too, right? They want to be seen, like, I'm there, hello, I'm there. So now play. They come like a player in your life, so then they push you to go out and play. So all of these gang stalkers who have been paid, all of this surveillance by AI. What is AI? AI is just a technology, but technology is in the hands of people. So technology is just a neutral thing. It's on us how we use it. We can use AI to make the world absolutely heaven like. And we can also use AI to destroy humanity, to make people fight amongst each other, to spread misinformation that this is who they are, that is who they are. And they don't have any good interest about you. They do not have any good motives about you. I took the notes of some of a lecture that I was watching of Shunyamurti, and he's incredible. Check out his channel too, Shunyamurti. He says, love is light, love is beauty, love is goodness and peace. Love of what? Love of the infinite intelligence. Free will and grace to have love for God. You are that. Love is light. The spirit and the matter, the brain and the heart. Wherever you would see these two, which is everywhere. So you need to come to the heart center, to the heart space, wherever your mind is overwhelmed with the magnitude of work that lays in front of you. Because that means you have just gone too far from your heart into your brain, and now your mind is making you insane with all of these problems that the life throws at you in form of injustice or in form of violence, in form of hate, in form of politics, in form of financial complexities of the world, and how economy makes you always busy. You're all the time busy. So your life is such a roller coaster that you just don't ever feel that you are free. As if the days just keep rolling back into the past, and you don't know how come now it's December of 2025 and time just flies so fast, and in few days it would be 2026. Many times I think that there's nothing for us to say, there's nothing for us to have a say, but then the opposition, the dark side forces me into this. So you might say it's like without the night there's no morning. So the night of these demons that forces me to come out and speak in the light. On my own, I'm very neutral. On my own, I'm very nothing. I'm very much a null zero. But when I see the liars and lies being out so loud and just doing all of this show which is ugly, that's when I'm forced into being a star in the darkness. Not because I call myself special that I'm a star in the night, but because the darkness around you is so much, and they want you to blend you with that darkness, which is not your true nature. So naturally, you could never be on that side. It's like you're playing a game of chess. You're either a white or you're a black. You're either a white king or you're a black king. Surrendering to the dark would just mean a complete annihilation of you. So, like Alan Watts says, this yin yang thing is like the two fishes, right? So the white fish wants to eat the black fish, and the black fish wants to eat the white fish. And both of these parties always have the fear that what if they win? But the God made this too so that this game could keep on going on without any point in time to have say that you will win, because then that would be a complete black or a complete white. But he keeps it going like the dance, all both these two. So you might keep being a person of light, you might keep on being trampled, attacked physically, mentally, psychic attacks, spiritual attacks. And you might think you have got no energy left. And just when you stop trying hard to fight, you see from a state of surrender, there is a birth of the right action in you. Without you trying. Gurdjieff talks about this in his book, The Fourth Movement. So by default, you're constantly in a state of either rising or you're in a state of fall. There's no way that you're at rest. So the movement upwards means conscious effort. That means you're going to fight your fear, you're going to fight your greed, you're going to fight your laziness. And that means a lot of effort. But if you don't do that, you directly fall down. It's like this pen, and I just drop it. Then it just falls on the base of the table. But to lift this, I have to put an effort and then lift it up. So this is what he talks in his fourth movement. And if you are so whenever you feel that you're threatened or you're scared, that's because you have stolen and hidden certain aspect of your energy. You're not 100% involved and invested into the task that you're doing. Your focus is still as if you have kept aside for yourself. I'm going to use this and cherish this fear. Yes, cherish this fear. You enjoy your fear. You enjoy your sense of misery and victimhood too. Because beyond that is a state where you are nothing, where you are actually nothing. And from that state, you cannot enjoy anything. It's like you do not have a mouth to taste these foods. And being born on this physical realm, in this body, you want to enjoy, you want to relish the juice of life. You cannot stay in touch. You cannot stay in touch of your desires. So your desire to eat, your desire to live, your desire to create, your desire to manifest, all of that is, you are on the plane because of desires. If you had no desires, you would not be here. You would not be alive if you do not have any desires left. And since you have desire, God also created the opposite, fear. And the way the life is designed is, you must keep on living through your through this fear your whole life, with little bit drops of rain being thrown in this desert of life, which is basically fear and intimidation and insanity. But little bit of drops of comfort I'll throw to you when your desires would get met. But in order for you to achieve your desire, you must keep on running and running, going thirsty and dying. And that's why you cherish your success, not because You're just enjoying it, but because of the hard work and effort that run, which made you run dry and thirsty and like dying. So all that amount of pain that you suffered, it's because of that you actually cherish that success, not because the thing in itself is making you happy, not because that house is making you happy, not because that woman or that man or that child makes you happy, but behind that was all of that suffering that kept you running towards that. Nobody comes to love because they just want to feel love, but because the violence of the world is so much intense that they want, and that's what they seek, a somebody who they could confide in. And initially, this concept of family and safe space sounds very interesting, fascinating. Until that again, the this is the way of the life is once you have a thing, you do not tend to value that. Once you have that thing that you wanted, that you were so much craving for, you do not appreciate that, and then you just take it for granted, and then you do not water that thing. So your garden tends to die until you are pushed back into the desert of the world, and then you come back to your oasis which you created. That felt safe, that felt loved. This is from a small ego perspective I'm talking, but for somebody who's woke, they do not need things like this nature, because to them the whole world becomes their family. They treat everybody with good intent, like how Lao Tzu said. You treat your enemies also in a nice way, though you know very well their intent, though you know very well that what they're up to. That is when you are not living in this world as the little I. What is in it for me? How much money can I make? If I make millions, how much millions? If I make billions, how much? And what am I going to do with this? So my ego of I sense gets extended. I want to be known. I want to be known by this name. And this ego is so strong, if not through the plus, through achievement, you want to even be known even through in a terrorist way. Like, I'm evil and you must fear me. I have the power to wreak havoc in your life. So I'm the evil one, and I'm known by this. I'm the head of the Satan. In any way, you want to be the head, because head feels like this is my solid ground. So, what is there for you? And what is there for anybody? Being aware and knowing the truth doesn't mean that you would not be challenged. Tomorrow, if somebody cuts you off, you will again get mad. If somebody honks at you for no reason, which is of course planned out so that they could get a reaction out of you, and if you stayed conscious before you left the house, then probably you would not react. But if you forgot, then you would of course run by habit, which is you would give them the reaction that they wanted. People just want to control you in subtle ways. So they would, whatever thing they are thinking about you, whether they think you're crazy or you're insane or whatever you are, you're nice or you're funny, stupid, or you're intelligent, whatever they think about you, they might just speak about it in subtle ways. in trying to pretend like they're talking with the other person while keeping their whole attention on you all the time. All the time. And all of this is planned out. Nobody has got special interest in you because, oh, you're an alien or you're a unicorn or you're somebody out of this world. Wow, they're so fancy. People just see somebody else like as if they're from the zoo while forgetting that they are in Zootopia too. Well, if I'm in the zoo, so are you. Because what are you doing here? Watching me? We are all in a zoo. So when life calls you, that's what Lao Tzu. Why do I love Lao Tzu? Because of the king that he is. Because he just never cared about anything at all. Because he was such a free being. Why do I love Buddha? Why do I love Christ? And why does the world love these great masters? Because they taught about there is so much freedom in just being as who you are. And this is the greatest teaching of Christ. Just be as you are. Because no matter the amount of clothing or the amount of external look or through the amount of external thing that you would want to show as, look, I'm valuable, so respect me. Because I have got this billion-dollar business and I drive these rich cars and I've got these fancy people who are lined up to meet me and I don't have time for any of you because I'm such a high social status person. Sure, it looks nice, it feels good, but there's just more to it. And nobody wants to be a beggar on the street and nobody wants to be living a hard life devoid of basic comforts. And why basic? Don't you also want to enjoy the riches of life? I think if if it's given, everybody would enjoy if you would like to. And if you're at a point in your spiritual ascension that all of this won't make sense, then probably you would not. So life is like a market, it's like a shop. Everything is in infinite quantity and you can just take whatever you want, but then you choose, do I actually want 10 or am I just happy with one or two? It's like life is like a buffet and you go out in the buffet and God tells you, all yours, eat, take whatever you want. You can also do a takeaway, in fact. But then you just look at the amount of stuffs in it and then you get confused. And then finally you just take what you enjoy, which is that one thing. And you just take how much ever you enjoy that in that moment and then you go back. Because you know that God is not somebody who just keeps his shop open for one day and next day onwards it's all nothing is there. So you just take whatever you want and then next day comes and then you take again because God gives it to you. Very much like birds. So there's a nice story of a man who saw there were 5 bags of wheat kept on the floor. So it was getting very difficult for him to carry so much of wheat. And he thought, how can I take all of this free wheat? But then he saw the birds. They just came and from one sack of wheat, they just took some of the grains and they ate and then they flew. Knowing very well that next day their food will arrive. So they are not so much in this mindset of hoarding. But the man was confused the whole day. How should I take this 5 sack of wheat? So that is how the life is. The more you're going to worry about it, you're going to find yourself so much busy all the time with planning, future planning, how to do this and that, only to realize there is no future. The only time you have is now. Even when the future comes, you would be living in that moment, but you can live and stay in consciously and think, I want more, more, as if life is infinite. Life is not infinite. You are immortal and you will die. Even if you have got a lot of money, and even if technology develops a lot, and even if you can live for 150 years, but what is the use of living like that? Mindlessly running to a future that does not exist, only to find out that I've always been here. Like, just think about it. The planet is spinning at such massive speed. So, even being where you are without any movement, you are still moving in this universe. But still, you cannot sit at your home. You just want to go outside someplace else because you cannot sit with yourself. There's a terrible energy that runs in you that just wants you to move. There can be no direction, just move. And it feels good as well, going in the nature, sitting on at the beach, walking in the sand. It feels good. But since you are a human and you have emotions and you have reactions and you have your story to tell, just like how evil side has got their playbook to play by, you coming from the angel side, you play by your playbook. So don't for a moment doubt that whatever thing is your experience and whatever way you view the world, that is invalidated just because the amount of evil in the world is so much and they tend to shadow over you. That is false. You're just as important as the darkness. Light and dark go together, just not at the same time. So there are moments when the demons would win, and then there are moments when you will win. Win in this game because everything is a game. Your everyday life is a game. Your idea of success, of what you want to do and how you can or cannot achieve it, everything is a game. We live in a world where this is your hand and this is your mouth, and if this is a chocolate, you can directly eat it like this. Take it and eat it like this. But no, they don't want it this way. They want it a very twisted way. So they want you to, first of all, hold this chocolate and then come out like this and then give this chocolate to yourself. This is a very twisted and roundabout way of doing something which you can directly do like this. Easy. Now, easy does it, but the world we live in, everything is complicated for no reason. So that's all I wanted to share in this video. Love is light, reminder. Love is beauty, reminder. Love is goodness, and love is peace. Stay beautiful. Stay beautiful like Lord Krishna, like Goddess Radha. Stay beautiful like Christ. Stay beautiful like the divine in you. There's no like. You are beautiful. You are divine, just as you are. So be as you are. I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love. Bye for now.